Good morning. Good morning. That's a little better. Welcome to Second Unitarian Church. I'm Rob Muller, a member of the Board of Trustees, and my pronouns are he, him, his. Today we're in person here in the 2U Sanctuary at Admiral at the Lake and continuing to meet virtually on Zoom as well. We're glad you're here, whichever way you're attending. If you're in the sanctuary and would benefit from hearing assistance, we have devices available as well as noise-canceling headphones for both adults and children in the back. So see our tech team if you're interested. We welcome people to wear masks during the service. This practice prevents transmission of COVID-19 and helps us center on the needs of those who are most vulnerable. We especially welcome newcomers and visitors this morning. Finding a new community and making new connections can be challenging. We're excited to have you and look forward to getting to know you. If you're new with us today, please note that in the Zoom chat or mention it in person in conversation after the service. There are blue mugs you can use to signal to others that you'd like them to come up and say hello. And you don't have to be a visitor to use a blue mug. You can use a blue mug even if you've been here before. We always need people in the kitchen after coffee hour, and that's a great place to see old friends and make new ones. Our worship today is led by Pip Paris, Berlinda Browne, Jung Messenger, and Leiszle Lapping-Carr, along with John Rice as worship associate. Music is provided by Pip Paris, Jim Simonis, Jonathan Dunmore, and Thais Braslovsky. Our time together requires a large group of people who make possible the worship, the music, and technical production of our Sunday services. They're listed in the order of service, and we thank them for their ongoing support and commitment to our congregation. A couple of quick announcements for you this morning. The Migrant Solidarity Lunch that's listed in today's order of service is canceled due to lack of signups. This coming Saturday, we're having Movie with the Minister. We'll go to watch Inside Out 2 at Regal City North Theater on Western. The movie will be sometime between 2:30 and 4, exact time to be announced on Tuesday. If you'd like to attend, see Carla here? Carla Tebby, who's not here. Next Sunday, we're hosting our annual lemonade stand outside the church to celebrate Pride. The parade goes right down Broadway, and we have many people passing through Barry to get to the parade. This is a great time to celebrate our LGBTQ+ community. Additionally, consider mass transportation and taking the train or the bus to church next Sunday because the roads will be a bit of a mess around here during the parade. Reverend Jason is off for the month of July for vacation and spiritual reflection, so he'll not be available during this time except in extreme circumstances. If you have pastoral care needs, you can reach out to Andrea Redfern and the Pastoral Care Committee for support. And finally, thank you for all of you who have completed your current year pledges. Really, really appreciate it. If you haven't, there's still a week left before the end of this fiscal year. And with that, I welcome John Rice to lead us in our call to worship. John. Thank you.
Good morning. Good to be back. So the call to worship. We'll do this together. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a community of children, youth, and adults, a people of many beliefs and traditions bound by the specific list of things we believe, bound not by the specific list of things we believe, but the values we share. Whether you are joining us for the first time or for the 1000th time, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God some of the time, all of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. Whatever your race, whomever you love, whichever way you move in the world, however much money is in your pocket, you are welcome here. I invite you, when you feel ready, to take a breath in and out. As the music begins, let us enter into our worship service together. In just a moment, Zella here in the sanctuary and Harris at the Admiral will light our chalices, the symbol of our faith. We light our chalices this morning with these words, "The Holy Work of Showing Up" by Ashley Horan. How is it with your soul? This is the question that John Wesley, Anglican priest and the founder of Methodism, was known to ask of participants in small reflection groups. I ask you because for me this has been a hard week. So beloveds, how is it with your souls? If your response to that question is anything like mine, I want to invite you to pause as you read this. Take a deep breath, say a prayer, sing a song, light your chalice, feel the force of gravity pulling us all toward the same center, whatever helps you feel more rooted and less alone. Now do it again, and again, and again. And once you feel the rootedness and connection, hear this. You are loved beyond belief. You are enough. You are precious. Your work and your life matter, and you are not alone. You are part of a great cloud of witness, living and dead, who've insisted that this beautiful broken world of ours is a blessing worthy of both deep gratitude and fierce protection. Our ancestors and our descendants are beckoning us, compelling us onward toward greater connection, greater compassion, greater commitment to one another and to the earth. Together we are resilient and resourceful enough to say yes to that call, to make our lives work in 1,000 different ways, knowing that we can do no other than bind ourselves more tightly together and throw ourselves into the holy work of showing up again and again to be part of building that world of which we dream but which we have not yet seen. Please rise in body or in spirit and join me in singing our opening hymn, number 188. Come, come, wherever you are.
So I'm going to first explain what we're doing. So today we're going to do this song as a round. And Jonathan Dunmore here has agreed to help me lead this round. I get a little nervous singing in front of people, so I need you to sing loud. So what we're going to do is first we're going to sing everybody all together twice. Come, come, whoever you are, which is 188 in your book. And it's also on your screen. And then after that 2 times all together, the room from here to there is with me, and the room from here to here is with Jonathan. And I see that there happen to be more people on my side, which is good because I need the support. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna get a note here. Wonderful. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, wherever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Thank you.
Please remain standing, and we will cite our covenant. The words are on your screen. We covenant to build a community that challenges us to grow and empowers us to honor the truth within ourselves. We will be generous with our gifts and honest in our communication, building faithful for a love that embraces both diversity and conflict. Called by our living tradition, we will nurture spirituality with a vision of the eternal, living out our inner convictions through struggles for justice and acts of compassion.
Please join me now in singing Spirit of Life, our congregational hymn. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me. Come to me. You may be seated. Now is the time for all ages, and I'm going to invite everybody up here who is young of years or even young of heart to come join me. Not that one. All right, could you guys do me a favor and sit closer to the chancel and face me over here? Yes, it's the Wonder Box. You know what it is. Have you seen a Wonder Box before? Big nod. Awesome. Okay. Yeah? That's awesome. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a few objects here together. Go ahead and open it. Yeah. Pick out anything you want. Pick out one thing at a time. Let's put that in. Hi. Welcome. So we're doing Wonder Box. Welcome. And what is that? Look at it. Tell me what it looks like. What does that look like? That looks like a star. We're going to do that one in a second. Yeah, it's an elephant that's all dressed up with a bunny by its foot. That is Ganesh or Ganesha. That is a Hindu elephant god. And I've actually been to India, and every driver in India has one of these on their dashboard. And in Hinduism is a polytheistic religion. It has a lot of gods. And this is one of the gods. He'll get obstacles out of your path. That is the belief that Hindus have. All right, what do we have next? A crescent moon and star. That is a symbol for Islamic faith, and Muslims believe that that represents progress and illumination. What else do we got? Tell me about your piece of paper. What is it?
It's a star.
It is a star. That's right. And how many, can you count? How many points? You know that one? 6-pointed star.
I crossed it. So 3 plus 3 is 6.
3 plus 3 is 6. That's absolutely right. So that is the Jewish star. That's the Star of David. It's an important symbol of Judaism. So it's a symbol for Jewish people, and it symbolizes the promise that God makes to people to care for them. You're Jewish? Oh, you're all Jewish. So you guys knew that one already. Yeah, totally. And there was one more. I think you're wearing it. What is that?
I think it's like a cross that is the symbol of some. I forgot.
That's okay. Yeah, it's a cross. That is a symbol for Christianity. So there's Christianity is another religion, and their symbol is the cross. And religious pluralism means that many different beliefs. There's people in this congregation who are all different kinds of faiths and believe in different gods or no gods. And that's awesome. We love that. Thank you for coming up here. Can you put them back in the box? So we have to get down on the ground. I love seeing the young kids. It's wonderful. So, are we singing the children out? No. Okay. I'm sorry for invisible process there. Okay. Each year, we make a commitment, a pledge to support the ministry of our church. In addition to this contribution, each Sunday we take a collection so that we can share with those doing justice beyond our church community. While we are unable to all come together in person, you can still share your resources. To make your contribution, you can text the number on the screen, which will be up shortly, or it can be found in your order of service. You can also drop off cash or a check in the donation box located in the Palmer Room directly to your right after exiting the sanctuary. For the month of June, we are sharing our plate with the Lighthouse Foundation. This morning, we have words from Marcus Payne.
Good morning, Second UU. It is a pleasure to be with you all on today. As Pip said, my name is Marcus Payne II. I use he, him pronouns, and I work with Lighthouse Foundation. I also want to honor Pastor Jason in his absence. He's someone who I've communicated frequently with when it comes to working with Lighthouse Foundation and Second Unitarian. There are two identities that are often attacked and persecuted in our society: Black folks and LGBTQ+ individuals. And I work for an organization that works at the intersect of both of those identities. Lighthouse Foundation of Chicagoland is a Black LGBTQ+ multiracial social justice organization that advances justice for Black LGBTQ+ people across Chicagoland through empowerment, entertainment, and education. We have 4 focus areas. Those focus areas are the arts. We navigate the arts through our Black queer music collective, which is called Voices of Light. Our second focus area is spirituality. When we say spirituality, we don't mean it by a particular religion, denomination, or creed, but we mean it in a broad sense. Lighthouse knows that mental health is an important thing for Black LGBTQ plus individuals. And so through monthly programming focused on the arts, trauma, healing, justice, and one-on-one support, we provide emotional, mental, and other wellness-centered resources to our community. Our third focus area is workforce development. Lighthouse works with businesses and nonprofits to create more empowering and sustainable, equitable opportunities for Black queer workers in our society. One of the ways we have done that is through our annual Workforce Development Conference, which happens in March. The conference centers Black LGBTQ plus individuals, and all of our presenters and those who host the event are Black and LGBTQ plus. And our fourth focus area is racial justice organizing. Lighthouse Foundation pursues racial justice organizing in many ways. One of our prominent ways is through the Black Queer Equity Index, or the BQEI. The BQEI is a report card and set of interventions for organizations to better serve their Black LGBT plus employees and board members. The BQEI is grounded in the idea that when those who are most marginalized in society are better served, all of society has an opportunity to better serve. And we get that from the work of intersectionality from Kimberly Crenshaw. Lighthouse Foundation released the first grades of our first cohort of the BQEI this past March. The first organizations that were with us were Howard Browne Health, Center on Halsted, Chicago House, AIDS Foundation Chicago, and Equality Illinois. We are grateful for Howard Browne Health, Center on Halsted, AFC, and Chicago House for being a part of this cohort and finishing up the survey. We still are waiting for Equality Illinois to do the last leg, and Lighthouse extends their arm in partnership for them to finish this last leg of the endeavor. The second way, and I'll be away from you all shortly, the second way we pursue racial justice organizing is through CARE, which is our coalition of accomplices of racial equity. Second UU is one of our CARE churches. CARE, we do a few different things. We have monthly programming. We have events that we sponsor as an organization. CARE is an educational mode to come together for community. We have conversations around intersectionality, how to protest safely, how to create affirming spiritual spaces. Before I leave you all on today, I want to let you know that I have left some pamphlets at the desk that have some of our upcoming events if you're interested in learning more. We have a fundraiser happening July 13th. It is a drag bingo fundraiser at Meeting House Tavern in Andersonville. And so if you're available, please join us on July 13th. Tickets are $35. We'll be playing some drag bingo. Please join us for a good time. Again, my name is Marcus Payne II. I work with Lighthouse Foundation. It's a pleasure being with you all today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Marcus. Now I invite you to join me in reading our offertory words. The words are printed in your order of service and are on the screen. This church is the community of ourselves. Its energy and resources are our energy and resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm it and enable its participation in the larger world around us. The offering will now be generously given and gratefully received.
I invite you now into the spirit of prayer and meditation. Let us start by breathing together. Take a deep breath in and out. We begin in thanks, thankful for the breath in our lungs, the beauty of the earth, and the strength of this community. We hold in our hearts those who care for family in ill health, those who live with grief or chronic pain, those struggling with addictions or illness, seen and unseen. We are with you. For parents and teachers and all those whose primary spiritual practice is caring for children, we are with you. We pray for our neighbors in prison, for those who are struggling to stay afloat in the midst of poverty, for migrants who are fleeing and seeking, finding new homes in our city, among many. We are with you. We pray for all those living in harm's way. We pray for our planet and commit to work that will lead us away from the harms of climate change. We pray that the wisdom, compassion, and empathy guide the leaders of our world. May they and we be instruments of a just and lasting peace. Our lives are blessed by those who knowingly, with curiosity and courage, face their final days. Into this shared silence, I invite you now to speak the name of anyone you wish to lift up into the loving support of this community. With our deepest compassion, let us hold in our hearts those named and unnamed, those remembered and those forgotten. Let it be so. Amen. Blessed be. During our ritual of lighting candles for our joys and concerns, we want to continue to take care of one another. In the 2U sanctuary, you are invited to come forward and light a candle. And as you end your time of contemplation and candle lighting, we invite you to use the hand sanitizer available. For those at the Admiral, I invite you to come forward and take a pebble from one bowl, hold it tightly, putting your energy into the stone, and then knowing your joys and sorrows to be shared by this community, let it go lightly into the other bowl. For those of us on Zoom, join us by sharing your joys and concerns in our chat window, and I will light a candle to represent your celebrations and sorrows. We hold all of these joys, celebrations, sorrows, and struggles close to our hearts.
Our first reading this morning is to bless and be blessed by Tanya Marquez. Blessings were an important ritual at home. Every morning when we were getting ready to leave our home for school, my mom would stand by the gate where we stopped before taking that first step outside our home, and she would give us a blessing. She blessed us by making the sign of the cross on our face and chest. She also taught us a prayer to say as we left the house. Sometimes I would turn back and I would see her waving from the front door and sending another blessing from the distance. For her, the world outside was scary and dangerous. Her hope was that those blessings would bring us back home and safe to be together again. No matter how chaotic our morning was, no matter how late we already were for school, her blessing suspended us in time for a moment. And right after it, we were back to the same rhythm to go on with our lives, to keep rushing to get where we needed to be. There was something very real and profound about this daily ritual. As an adult, it took me a long time to realize that I too could bless. It was not easy to learn that I had the ability to bless, to send my good wishes and wishes of safety to those I love, or simply to recognize the sacredness of something or someone. Growing up, I had learned that elders, priests, mothers, and nuns could bless. And, well, I was none of those for a long time. But then I discovered that blessing something or someone is recognizing their sacred nature, caring for them enough to want them to be protected, and a way of expressing my gratitude and reverence for them. I believe now that all of us can bless, and when we stop to do so, we create a pause, a breathing moment in our day to recognize what is holy or that something needs our recognition and care. A pause perhaps to interrupt the speed up rhythm of our bodies and minds. We can create blessings that recognize the sacredness of things that affirm and validate us or others, blessings that make us and others feel affirmed, blessings that are prayers for all of us to find our way home to our sanctuary, to our safe spaces and people. I bless the beauty of your being, the sacredness of your breath, the unfolding of your spirit, the fullness of your humanity. I bless each moment you pause to recognize that all is holy and around you. Our second reading is Freedom of Doubt by Paul Stephen Dodenhoff. The freedom to doubt, to question, to be content, to live in mystery is central to the liberal religious tradition. Like the process of evolution itself, the path that we follow, our practice, is not easy or simple. It isn't without its dead ends or its disappointments. It doesn't guarantee that all of our conclusions will be final or that we will ever find an answer to all of our questions. But also, like the process of evolution, it is filled with great expressions of beauty and awe that are sometimes born of struggle and at other times are simply unexpected grace. Let us hear our anthem.
It is my pleasure to share with you this morning from our Red Songbook, which was compiled by the late Mary Ellen Walden, our former choir director here. And this is called Spirit, and it's by Jung. Spirit, Spirit of gentleness, blow through the wilderness, calling and free. Spirit, Spirit of restlessness, stir me from placidness, wind sang in a stable, you cried from a hill, and you whispered in silence when the whole world was still. And down in the city, you called once again when you blew through your people on the rush of the wind. Spirit of gentleness, blow through the wilderness, calling and free. Spirit of restlessness, stir me from placidness, wind on the sea. You call from tomorrow, you break ancient schemes from the bondage of sorrow, the captain's feeble dreams. Our women see vision, our men clear their eyes with bold new decisions. Your people arise. Spirit of gentleness, blow through the wilderness, calling and free. Spirit of restlessness, stir me from placidness, wind on the sea, wind on the sea.
Good morning. Is that good? Okay. I believe in a higher power, creator, in a universal power that is unseen in my eyes, but there for me to tap into. I believe this, the world is round, made up of different wonderful colors, shapes, and smells. People who are alike, that bring their own personalities to this world. I cherish and celebrate our differences and our similarities. I believe this. Being a Unitarian Universalist has allowed me to continue on my religious search. You see, I am a searcher on my religious path to enlightenment through positive thinking, a lot of prayers. I need more meditation, but I do some meditation. Good books and thoughtfulness. Okay, I have a reading, which I'm going to do. Now we need participation. I like participation. So when I raise my hand, I want you to say, today is a new, no, just say today is. Can you do that? Can we do a practice? Today is. Okay, great. I'm not going to point because I was told that in some cultures, pointing is really negative. So this is the reason I'm going to raise my hand. Oh. It's an unknown author, and it's out of this book. I love this book. This too shall pass. Today is a new day, and I am ready to face it with courage. A new chance. I am ready to live within my convictions. A new opportunity, and I am ready to make better choices. A new possibilities. I am ready to face any obstacles. A new way of thinking, of walking, of being, and doing. And I am ready to live every moment. Join me in living every moment for justice. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jung. I use they, them as my pronouns, and I wanted to thank Pip for organizing this service and asking me to speak. I came to Unitarian Universalism after more than 2 decades as a solo practitioner in various pagan traditions. Like many people on the Gen X millennial cusp, who also spent their sleepovers conducting seances, playing with Ouija boards, and watching the movie The Craft, it was only a matter of time before I decided that the dogma and patriarchy of my parents' mainline Protestant Christianity was not for me, if also presented with the option to become a teenage witch. Almost 25 years later, I still consider myself a little bit witchy, but I've also gotten clearer on what an earth-centered spirituality really means for the ways that I try and live my life. I believe in the divinity of all living beings, that we're not only an embodiment of the cosmos, quite literally made of star stuff, as Carl Sagan would say, but we also possess enormous power to shift our collective futures through the deep work of transforming ourselves. I connect to the earth, its cyclical impermanence, its abundance and generosity, its ability to heal and regrow, and I feel its wisdom when I root my hands in the dirt of my community garden plot, smell the fragrant blooms of the lilac bushes that line my street, or feel the cool spray of the lake as it reflects the bright full moon. And I find solace and comfort in knowing that on this planet and in this place, I am just a visitor, here for a brief moment in the clock of the world, according to Leiszle Boggs, to cultivate justice, reduce violence and harm, and leave things better than I found them for future generations. Over the last 5 years or so, I've also been able to connect to the rituals and the beliefs of Korean shamanism, which has not only deepened my spirituality, but also strengthened my ties to the culture taken from me as an adoptee. Like paganism, Korean shamanism is also an earth-centered tradition that believes in the value and worth of all living things, the wisdom and intuition that each of us innately possesses, and the divinity and power of nature and the planet. It's ancestral and mystical, helping me cultivate a sense of wonder and mystery to counterbalance the rational and empirical parts of my brain. And because it survived from ancient times before occupation and war criminalized its practice and divided the land where I was born, Korean shamanism is like the majestic and sacred mountains that stretch the peninsula from Mount Baekdu to Mount Hala, and that it existed before borders and militaries and prisons, and surely will survive after they're all gone. Yet, what does it mean to believe all of that in a world where the expression of power in some is celebrated and assumed, and in others is discouraged and feared? What does it mean to draw spiritual strength and knowledge from nature, unless I'm also acknowledging and working to return that nature back to its original indigenous stewards? What lessons of interdependence and symbiosis can we learn to shift our collective hoarding and accumulation, whether that's of food or money or power, back towards sharing and redistribution? Perhaps it's the warmth exchanged as I link arms with another person to block an approaching line of police, in the aroma of soup prepared for a sick comrade or an unhoused neighbor, in the spark of laughter shared with my sweet nibblings or doing childcare here at 2U as we're reading a book or playing together. These reminders that we are who we have and we are what we need regularly bring me to tears and leave me in awe of all that we can accomplish together. For most of my life, I've been told that I can't just pick and choose what I like about religion and discard the rest. But that's actually what I love about being a pagan UU, where I can also draw on those aspects of Buddhism and Judaism, on Islam and humanism, on liberation and queer theology that also speak to me. May our values and actions continue to move us towards love, justice, and liberation for ourselves, each other, and the planet. May we live it now and for the generations that will surely follow. Blessed be.
Good morning. My name is Leiszle Lapping-Carr, and I use she, her pronouns. I believe that everyone has the right to believe what resonates with them. My mother, who grew up in a highly conservative Methodist family, is a believer in karma and reincarnation and spirit travel to different planes of existence. I remember meditating with her and some of her fellow practitioners when I was little, chanting, "You," and feeling it resonate in my chest, the sound enveloping me and centering me and grounding me. She empowered me to figure out for myself what I believed and taught me that engaging in spiritual study and self-reflection was a vital part of my development. I've carried with me the lesson of being in the present moment and honoring my body. I struggle with chronic pain as an adult, a big shift from my highly athletic youth, and yoga has helped me find a way that I can still feel strong in my body. Bending, stretching, sweating, and shaking as I try out new and challenging poses. It's also a space for me to comfort myself with gentle, relaxing postures and deep, soothing breaths. Yoga is a highly spiritual practice for me, and I always feel more aligned and at peace when I make time for it. I believe that there is good in everyone. I feel what others feel deeply in my core. I cry easily. I laugh easily. I don't really embarrass or pass judgment easily. I love the way I connect to others through my empathy, which is probably a big reason I became a therapist. One major function of religion is the binding of people together. This can be organized and directed, like helping to provide meals for those who struggle with food insecurity. Being in a kitchen with others, sharing stories while the food we're making smells more delicious by the minute. Dancing and singing to the classic rock station as we work. Giving to others can also be small, like letting the person just buying cat food go in front of you in the grocery store checkout line when you have a full week's worth of groceries for a family of 4. I believe in God some of the time. Reincarnation and the accumulation of knowledge and experiences across lifetimes resonates with me. So does the more scientifically based conceptualization of our bodies as matter that cannot be destroyed or created, but persists and changes across the ages. I revere nature. There is a beauty and omnipotence to the way life interacts on this planet of ours. Some of my favorite childhood memories include venturing into the woods with nothing but a book, climbing a tree, and spending hours immersing myself in the story while feeling the wind in my hair and the scratchy bark against my bare legs. Honoring the plants and beings we share our planet with and the forces of nature that shape our existence nourishes my spiritual well-being. I believe in fairies. My mother would tell us stories about fairies, magical and beautiful beings, at times kind and at times impish. We would go on hikes in our woods, and she would point out signs of fairies as we walked. Markings on trees, circles of stones, clearings in the underbrush. While I've never met a fairy myself, I have hope that I will at some point in my life. Fairies, unlike God, I believe in all of the time. I hold my beliefs lightly, but I hold my values firmly. I no longer see religions as interchangeable, as all offering different versions of the same thing. Rather, as I learn more about different religious traditions, I've realized I can find things in most belief systems that resonate with me. And this realization feels grounding, like I have a stable foundation that I can count on. And even when I'm not paying attention to it, it will still be there for me. I often fall short of living perfectly aligned with my spiritual values, but they still guide my life, and I'm always open to learning something new. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pip. My pronouns are he, him, his. And here is my beliefs. Growing up, I was deeply religious, even more than I was expected to be by my Lutheran minister father or my ELCA family. I prayed to Jesus often, on my own, and would feel his presence, comforting me. Additionally, I held funerals for the box elder bugs who died after getting caught in the church's paint. And I held a wedding for Mexican jumping beans who hatched and crawled off into the grass, living happily ever after. By 17, I was wanting to be a missionary to save people's souls, and I tried to convert a Muslim friend of mine. She was very gracious about this attempt and accepted the challenge. What I hadn't taken into account is that she had been on the debate team for 6 years. Within a 3-hour conversation under bright Minnesota stars, I lost my Christian faith. I had a dream about Jesus soon afterwards, and I asked him if it was okay if I became a non-Christian, and he didn't answer, but it felt like his answer was yes. I did try other Christian denominations, but that spark was gone for me. And it was hard for me to be without faith. But a year later, my boyfriend, who was Shinto Buddhist, convinced me that I could choose my own faith. He brought me to his college's library, opened a giant reference tome of deities, and told me to pick a god to believe in. Not having heard of cultural appropriation at this time, I picked Isis, the Egyptian goddess, and I began praying to her, imagining her winged arms enfolding me. Not long after, I met Jason, not our Reverend Jason, a different Jason, and he was a witch, a pagan. He taught me about paganism, and on the summer solstice in 2001, I dedicated my spiritual path to paganism. Over the years, I have practiced with many groups, including some years doing personal growth, leadership studies, and ecstatic trance rituals at Diana's Grove Mystery School. I learned that my favorite kind of ritual was embodied ritual, where everybody was moving to the amount that they were able. I like stepping outside of ordinary consciousness and find that my path to healing is often best served by accessing my unconsciousness in a trance state and rewriting old and tired stories I don't need anymore. I became a Unitarian Universalist years later when my kindergartner started bringing home playground theology. Some kid at school, I don't even know their name, was teaching my kid about God. And my kid didn't want to talk to me about it because they had found the answer. So I decided that we would try out Unitarian Universalism. I know that UUs had good religious education that allowed for open exploration, and I felt that this would be a good way to bring safe theology to my kid with adults who I could trust, to allow my kid to develop their own faith. So I found Second Unitarian. That kid is 16 years old now, if you believe it. And here I found community and meaning and opportunities for leadership development. You may know that I spent 2 years as an intern minister at Broadway United Methodist Church up the street, and this was an interesting place to be openly pagan. Everybody was very polite to me when I arrived, but I later found out that some had been quite irate that I had been taken on board as a non-Christian. I eventually won people over, and over the 2 years, I came back into a relationship with Jesus, but without rejecting my pagan beliefs or faith. I feel that in this world, where is it extremely difficult, if not impossible, to not be complicit in some form of harm, think of chocolate, for example, forgiveness and grace can be life-saving. I don't believe they're mandatory, but I have found them useful in my own path. I believe that Jesus is always on the side of the oppressed and offers freedom from shame and guilt. And so I believe in him alongside Thor and Loki. Or as I often like to say, I believe in Jesus, I'm just not exclusive with him. Today, we've heard a few different spiritual perspectives, both from Time for All Ages with the young ones, and for Berlinda, Jung, and Leiszle. Even people who have had fairly similar beliefs have some very particular differences in those beliefs and how they experience them. I'm certain that everybody listening to me, whether you are atheist, agnostic, pagan, Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, or another religion, or combination of religions, or no religion, you have your own unique path and story to tell. This plurality of belief is welcome here, in Unitarian Universalism and here at Second Unitarian. We say that we are bound not by exactly what we believe about the universe, spirituality, or God, but by the values we share. Many of us come here because it is safe to be who we are. Here in a community of people who cares. And that's why I keep on coming back to Second Unitarian, because this is a community where I can be fully who I am, and because here I am surrounded by people who care. Many beliefs, shared values. This is a place that cares. So now please rise in body and or spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, 346, Come Sing a Song with Me. I now invite you to rest your hands upon your heart or clasp hands with those you are sharing your life with during these pandemic times and hear these words. No matter what you believe or don't know what to believe, you are welcome. You are loved. Our religious diversity is precious and wondrous and gorgeous. May we embrace our differences and remember that love is what we share. Be blessed. Amen.